So,
Hi.
hi. So we want to connect to star beings today because when we did our big winter solstice card reading for the year ahead, it highlighted in March that it was important for us to connect to star beings because they wanted to help us with our path and how to move forward on it. And one of the funny things is we'd like to add video teaching and recording as a new part of our path. So we figured maybe they want to help with that too. So that's why we're here. And, apparently Jenny, Powell, and Giuseppe wanted to get involved. So on a canvas that's going to become Jenny's soul journey chart, there's this grid full of fluorite, atlanticite, etc., that was already doing work and calling in beings. And this seems to be wanting to get involved with making a clear channel to the star beings today. So with Susannah's suggestion, we added a few grounding crystals. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it just feels important to add a bit of grounding to help us with the understanding. I'm not sure that the star beings themselves need to ground exactly, but it helps them to anchor into our energy and to the energy of the grid. And so tourmaline came up, and you've put green tourmaline and a couple of black tourmalines. And then it felt right to have a crystal to help with communication, understanding and seeing. So we've got lapis on the grid to help with our understanding and our communication, really. This is Iggy Stardust, beautiful skull, who really wanted to come, and he's got a star over his eye, so that seems very appropriate that he's going to help to communicate the messages for us. So yeah, excited to do this.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is slide the crystal grid aside here, and we're just going to connect into that energetically while we connect in. And I think that it made sense to me to draw a totem to translate the energy. So I'm just going to literally write down the same way I would draw a totem for a person or a relationship, just this concept of connecting to the star beings. So I'm going to put the date down, 3rd of March, 2021. I'm going to write messages from the star beings. That way I've got sort of my intention down on the piece of paper. And then I'm just going to turn that puppy over and allow the energies to come through. It's really important for me to just sort of keep an open mind, and it's almost like automatic writing. I just literally tune in and let whatever's gonna flow through the pen, and I don't have to know where it's going or what it means, and I just allow it. And then as it's coming together, usually after the drawing or maybe partway through the drawing, I start talking about maybe what some of the things mean. So what do you think? What do you want to do to facilitate the connection? And do you want to do something while I'm drawing?
Well, several things come to mind. The first thing is for us to ground. I think that's really important so that we don't float off while we're connecting with such high beings. They're bringing in a very high frequency of energy. So it's important for us to ground. It's important for us to set the intention that we wish to communicate. and that we wish that to be for our highest good.
Mm.
And at the same time, I want to call on Archangel Michael to protect our boundaries, so that the star beings that come through are the ones that are going to bring us help and support, and that we're not attracting any other energies that are out there that we might not want to communicate with. So,
Yeah.
and also, I think it's important to connect up to source energy, because then we're allowing for the purest energy to come through to us with the additional protection of that white light.
Yeah. One of the funny things that comes to mind when you say, it's important to ground, is that I realized in my space where I'm drawing regularly and connecting to energies, whether it's other people or angels or whatever, I actually sit on a grounding mat on my chair, which is made up of ground up grounding crystals. And then underneath my desk, I've got this treasure chest that has grounding crystals and some other facilitating things to help me. And I've often got my feet on those. And then sometimes I'm wearing the grounding crystals. So I've got hematite on this necklace that I'm wearing all the time, as well as labradorite, which is a great boundary crystal that helps you to understand what energy is yours, what energy is someone else's or something else's, and what to do with it. So what do you do for that?
I wear this all the time. Sometimes I take it off, quite rarely, but I wear a labradorite pendant over my heart all the time, so that, like you say, other people's energy will just bounce off, so I can feel and tune into somebody, but I don't have to take their energy on, which is very important. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple of friends who want to help tonight. I've got this friend of ours who's called Knobbly Norman, who's an amazing flint. Flints are very powerful grounding crystal, so that's a good one. He's here. I've also got with me, if I can pick him up and not drop him.
Is it Neptune? I knew it would be.
Neptune. He's an enormous green calcite, and he's like a natural skull. I'm going to hold him up. It's not very easy one-handed. Don't know if you can see, but he does have like a natural skull shape to his face, and he's very protective. He seems to really look after me and look after the home. So I usually ask him to come in. He's usually sat beside me anyway, whatever I'm doing. And interestingly, because the card that we pulled was star beings and ancestors.
That's right. Oh.
So there's a little bit of, wanting to be open to ancestor support as well. And I have got a very beautiful ancestralite skull. I don't know if you can see his stripes. I'm going to hold him slightly differently.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not only a grounding crystal, but he is really helps you to connect to your past and to ancestors. So I've got quite a lap full here, and they all want to help, and they want to all sit pretty much where they can see the camera.
I've just gone and got my piece of ancestralite to set onto the grid, which can you remember this? I'm thinking that I bought this from Terry with Crystal Wise and Astrology Wise.
Yes.
So
yeah, I think so.
She's a super crystal resource when you're needing something. So, all right, connecting into the ancestors as well. So, because we're talking about this being the star beings and the ancestors, then I'm going to write on the back an additional thing that says messages from the ancestors. And then ancestors. I suppose that it would be important for us to pose a question, what is it that we want help with? So do you want to take the lead on that? Like, what is it?
Well, really aware of a lot of change going on at the moment, aren't we? We've been aware of downloads coming in, aware of change in our home environment coming up, and the fact that we're separated at the moment because of the pandemic. So I think that I would really like some guidance on, smooth transitions, smooth transformations, and for there to be very clear guidance, because the energy is quite turbulent at the moment, and so it can feel a bit pulled, when trying to make a decision. So I think it would be really helpful to have some clarity.
Well, that's excellent, because 90% of the crystals on the grid here that we have helping us are fluorite. And the biggest thing that I know fluorite for is clarity.
Yes. Yeah, very much a sense of truth coming through, I think, with the crystals that have been chosen, or that decides to come forward, should I say, because it's not really so much about making a decision on, oh, well, these are the crystals that will work for us anymore, is it? It's more intuitive, and often the crystals present themselves that want to help. So this is part 1.
Part 1, yes, setting up the energies.
Yeah, that seems like a good plan.
Something that came to mind for me as a question. So you're saying guidance for smooth transitions. And I want to say illuminating the path ahead.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Very much so. There's a very much a sense when you speak about star beings that there will be a lot of light coming in. And I think there will be attunements coming through for us as well.
I want to also process how to move forward. Yeah, I was thinking attunements, because that's sort of something that you that comes very naturally to you, is helping people and yourself and animals to attune to the new energy, so you can integrate this new version of you moving forward, or integrate new guidance.
Yeah.
And literally in our message from the cards that we pulled, it said about the path and how to move forward. And so what's coming to my mind is like an idea of almost guidance from the star beings that's like a GPS. So it gives you sort of a goal of where, help us figure out where's the destination. And then like, what's cool is that what's coming to my mind is that there's options of routes. It's not like there's only one way to get there. We have options. And so that's lovely. And, not just that, like options of routes, but also sort of the vehicle to get there, so to speak. But what's interesting is what's coming to my mind about the vehicle to get to the destination that's your goal. It has far more to do with the perception, like the perspective that you take on. Like you're going to have a Ferrari perspective, or you're going to have like, the perspective of a snail, or you're going to have a perspective of like, I just don't think I'm capable of this. So then that's like the perspective of you just hobbling without any shoes, walking on some path where you don't know where you're going. Or you can be in, a vehicle that's appropriate.
Yeah.
But it's all about mindset. So that's interesting.
Very much so. I think star beings suggest, speed, light travel, speed of light travel. It's I get the sense that they can help to speed processes up. So we need to remember to ask for it to be at a manageable pace for humans.
Right, or just to take the limitations off of us.
True, very true.
Because, we don't only just exist as humans, so maybe some of our travels need to be outside of this body so that we're not limited that way.
Yeah, and we might find that we have dreams where we do astral travel after this, so that'll be very exciting.
Very exciting.
I shall be sleeping with grounding crystals just to make sure I can come back safely.
Well, usually I'm a 5 planets in Taurus person, so usually there's grounding is non-issue for me, but something about being in the sign of Pisces right now in the present timing, I mean, I've been just like a little balloon half the time, so I should put some grounding crystals beside my bed as well. All right, what do you think? Should we sign off and come back so we can just do it?
Yeah. Okay. See everyone in a minute.
Woohoo.